We're going to talk about this Blue Origin flight, and a lot of people are commenting on that on the internet right now. We're going to get into what Warren Buffett's doing. We're going to get into actually a lot of other things as well. They had the Blue Origin go up into space, Jeff Bezos' rocket, and it had, I think, 6 women on board. One of them was Katy Perry. One was his wife. Some others, I don't even remember who they all were, but it's kind of hilarious, some of the clips coming out. This was something I didn't see yesterday. This is funny. Apparently, they didn't know how to get out of the capsule correctly. As you can see here, they open the door and then they close it again. They open the door and then they close it. So then they're like locked in or something. What's going on here? You open the door and then you open it farther. You don't close it. You open it again. So of course they were trying to talk as if they were the one piloting these rockets. It was completely automated. You have Katy Perry putting her flower to the heavens and thanking the goddess.
Katie!
Kissing the ground, of course. And Jeff Bezos also, my wife showed me this one. This is kind of funny. I got it over here. Apparently Jeff Bezos had a little mishap himself while he was running over to get his wife out of the Blue Origin capsule. Check this out.
Here with our audience, so
it's like he falls. Oh my goodness, Jeff. You got to look before you walk, bro.
it's been really incredible.
So Jeff Bezos falling, trying to get to his wife, and she opens the door and closes it on him. You know what I mean? It's working out great. So at any rate, I thought that was kind of hilarious. On top of that, we actually had a number of other things that happened with this whole Blue Origin. Apparently Katy Perry said that she was trying to get the message out about Mother Earth, which doesn't really make any sense because the trip's carbon footprint equals the annual energy consumption of 15,000 households. So she's trying to save the planet by polluting it, apparently. I don't know. It never really makes a lot of sense with some of these millionaires and billionaires. They don't seem to really fully understand what they're saying and how their actions have nothing to do with what they're saying.
You care about Mother Earth, and it's about Mother Earth, and you're going up in a spaceship that is built and paid for by a company that's single-handedly destroying the planet. Look at the state of the world and think about how many resources went into putting these women into space.
Yeah, of course. And then they acted like this was the first time a woman was ever in space. Well, just not that long ago, we had someone in space for 6 months, a woman, because they couldn't get her off the International Space Station, right? So I think they've been in space before. And here, of course, is Katy Perry thinking, what is it? No, she said thinking the goddess or something. Check this out.
Force designates space. It's where we're out of our atmosphere. And so that if you get to that point, that's when you're considered an astronaut.
Well, you can hear.
She said, oh my goddess. That's what it was. Like, who says, oh my goddess? What in the world? Female power. Yay. What in the world, dude? Of course, here they are praying to the rocket, which doesn't make any sense either.
We love you.
We love you.
Bring us back safe.
We're so grateful.
We're counting on you.
We're counting on you.
We believe in you too.
Thank you for helping us heal.
What in the world, dude? Thank you for helping us heal. Look at this thing. Okay, let me back up. Let's go look at the rocket. We got a picture of the rocket. It looks like it looks like something a man has. I think you know what I'm talking about. They're praying to it. Okay, and they're saying it's healing them. I don't know, man. You can't make this stuff up. It's so hilarious, actually. So yeah, so you got that going on. We have Fed Chair Powell warns of unsustainable U.S. debt path, downplays risks of possible issues with the central bank independence. Obviously referring to the Fed being, removed. Sounds like a good idea, actually. Now, it's kind of curious because he said a number of things of recent. Jerome Powell is talking like he's not going to intervene at all if the stock market's doing bad, which sounds like he's kind of going against our president now. That's kind of curious. This might give him, or president, the fuel he needs to maybe get rid of the Fed, if you think about it. But of course, you'd have to get it through the House and the Senate, and the Senate would be the harder one. But it is kind of interesting to think about. If that did happen, that would be quite amazing. Be the first time in a long time, 130 years. We also have this: S&P 500 companies are experiencing the worst earnings revision since the onset in 2020. You can see that it's now spiking down. Obviously, back in 2020, it went much deeper. But everyone is running out of money. As you saw in my previous video, I talked about the fact that people are paying the minimum due on their credit cards. They're racking up the debt like no tomorrow. And obviously, this has been exacerbated for probably over a year and a half now, where you saw the two lines cross between what you made and how much you owe, or how much you had to pay a month. And now people are making less and less money. Actually, the trend is downward up until recent. Now we're starting to see it sort of right its course because of our new president and the tariffs and all that. But the fact is, inflation continued to go up during the former administration, and ever since our new president's got in, it's actually went down. We actually have positive. We actually have it down negative 6% on costs at fast food right now, which is kind of interesting. And that actually came from a source that's on the left. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see that inflation's down. We're seeing things sort of correcting, but it's going to take a long time because we had to live through all that we saw the last 4 years where the economy is basically getting worse and worse and worse. Now we're seeing these companies, their earnings are way down. And we're seeing in New York State, we're going to get into it in a minute here, what's going on there. Right now, Warren Buffett holds enough cash to buy almost 500 companies in the S&P 500 at current values. Of course, the value of some of these companies have went down. We talked about some of this. I think Family Dollar, it was like 1/9 the value it was. I'm trying to remember. It went down a ton. It went down a ton. It was like 1/9 the value from, I can't remember, some years back, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. When it was first purchased by Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree purchased it, and it now is 1/9 the value that it was then. So kind of amazing. And I'm not sure. I don't remember when Dollar Tree bought them, but you know what I mean. At any rate, we also have this clip of our former president. We got Joe here coming out to talk. Just kind of hilarious. Check this out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's talking already. Music's still going.
Who deserve help and paid for most of it. You know, my great friend, he is a great friend, Governor O'Malley. My dad, the Biden family started off in Baltimore. They don't say Baltimore, it's Baltimore. In Baltimore.
Was that back when he was a fireman? I don't know. Yeah, I think that retirement home is open there, Joe. If you want to go check it out. At any rate, so it just is hilarious. I hope he walked off the stage correctly this time. But, you know, it's just kind of funny. He started talking while the music was still playing. No one could hear what he was saying hardly. And, of course, then we have the story from Harvard. Harvard apparently defying the president's orders, and now apparently their funding has been frozen. $2.2 billion in grants to Harvard over campus activism has now been frozen. And so we're seeing a lot of groups. Harvard, I guess you technically is probably a company, a school that is trying to defy his orders. And whatever, you've seen how he is. He doesn't put up with any of this anymore. Someone tries to defy his orders, he does something about it every time now. And he threatens to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status after school rejects policy demands because he's considering them to be activist organization now, potentially, if they continue where they're going. School announced it would not comply with his demands. Perhaps Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity. If it keeps pushing for all these things, and remember, tax-exempt status is totally contingent on acting in the public's interest. So this is something that's going on currently with Harvard. Honestly, Harvard's not what it used to be. It's pretty obvious. I think MIT is the top school. The top school. My brain's not working right now. So I think MIT is the top school. Harvard's like number 5 now or something. It used to be number 1 at one point. But you can see it's clearly gone downhill. New York State is not doing too well either. It's went downhill. Factory activity contracted in April for a second month, while a gauge of the near-term outlook for business conditions plunged to the lowest level since 2001. In the wake of these tariffs, Federal Reserve Bank of New York's General Business Conditions Index rose 11.9 points. It's sort of ironic thinking about this. They're looking at the future as being worse now that there might be more jobs and more manufacturing in New York State. Does that even make any sense? Obviously, someone is just looking at this in a negative light, perhaps because of articles or media saying things. But it is currently on a negative trajectory and contracting, and we're seeing this also starting to happen in other states. We're seeing it also with a lot of companies going out of business. We have a number of bankruptcies. The outlook for business conditions slumped more than 20 points to minus 7.4, the second lowest on record, as manufacturers anticipated shrinking orders, shipments over the next 6 months. The gauges of future bookings and shipments dropped to its lowest data back to 2001, which is, like I said, so perhaps because it has nothing to do with bringing jobs here, but in interim time between that, they're expecting less orders because they're concerned about exports, I guess, is what they're saying, because these tariffs are obviously blocking off exports with, tariffs going back and forth between countries. It's just kind of ironic because there isn't a lot of exporting we do anyway. So I don't know why that's such a big factor in their estimations. The factor of exports will get much larger once we have a lot more jobs back here, because they've all disappeared for the most part with regards to exports. We have a lot of bankruptcies going on currently. Burger King franchisee with 57 locations in Florida files for bankruptcy. We have, of course, major, where was it at? There was another one. Popular toilet paper brand files Chapter 11. That was not the one I was looking at. Huge Coffee. Here it is. Huge Coffee Company files for bankruptcy protection. Forever 21. You got all these different companies of recent all filing bankruptcy. And obviously we're just seeing sort of the trajectory, the momentum from the last few years. We're still trying to, obviously that's still going that direction because of the momentum. It takes a while to turn this thing around. And I'm just hoping we can do it in time. I do think that we're going to have a stock market crash. I do think that's going to happen. I think the fact that Jerome Powell's not going to play ball, that's one factor right there. You have also our president trying to turn things around with these tariffs, which makes things rocky, right, in the stock market. We already have all these different charts telling us there's going to be a stock market crash. The yield curve uninverting, all these different charts showing that it's very obviously going to happen. So you got all that going on. Then you have, of course, hedge funds on the brink of blowing up, as we saw in the 2020. Financial system may be heading to one of the biggest changes in modern history. Some investors are realizing the U.S. Treasuries and the U.S. dollar are not safe havens anymore currently. U.S. obviously, once we start getting this new stuff into place, then it will. So now everyone's going into gold as a safe haven. That's why gold prices are going way up. You might want to go get some of your own gold. Got some deals going on at APMEX right now. Go check it out. Link is in the description for that. And of course, go check out my website, GR Videos. I just put up some videos yesterday, I think it was. Also, I got this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House Like They Did in the Good Old Days. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to need that book before something happens. You're going to be able to buy it after the fact. You know how this world's been. It's always wise to be prepared. It's only $37 to get the printed version. Link is in the description. Getting back to the video, we have IRS shakeup. Agents resign. I think it's 25% of them, 20,000 of them, have accepted a resignation offer from the administration amidst calls from Senator Mike Lee to abolish it altogether, the IRS, and I'm guessing they're referring to replacing it with the ERS, the External Revenue Service Center. We have 25% of the IRS workers planning to take a buyout offer. That's the 20,000 number, about 100,000 total. Actually, it's a little bit. Honestly, it's more than 25%, isn't it? Because they have less than 100,000 workers. See, this is from CNN. Obviously, it's maybe like 28%. I don't know, 27, whatever it is. But you get the idea. So, of course, then we have some other interesting stories. We're going to get into some funny ones. What happened with this Blue Origin? We're going to get into the women's NBA. Check this out. This is hilarious. Women's NBA, apparently some of the players think that they need to be making as much as LeBron James.
Women's basketball star, we should be getting paid like NBA players.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
Of course,
everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree with that.
I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us
they want to get paid the same amount as NBA players. Now, I could not even begin to imagine why they're not being.
Look at that. So, of course, right now they're currently on a trajectory to lose $40 million in 2020. Well, they did lose $40 million in 2024 season. And this is because they're expecting higher wages when they don't have anybody watching them. It's like, you work for a company that competes with Apple. You're making phones, and your phone company is super small and no one likes it. Or not as many people like it as iPhones or Apple. And you're saying, well, we should be paid the same as the Apple employees. I mean, that's really what's going on here. It's not about men, versus women. It's actually about, is your company, WNBA, as valuable as the NBA? Are you bringing in as many sales? Obviously not. Check this out. You can see the numbers here. Oh my goodness. So this blue line down here is the WNBA. The NBA is the red line. Clearly, the NBA is just a wee bit more popular to watch. So that might explain why there's a discrepancy in how much you're paid. You know what I mean? Like, obviously. You have apparently some admission to technology by our government, which is really strange. U.S. tech advances, manipulating time and space. Apparently, someone claimed this that works for the White House Office of Science and Technology Director Michael Kratsios, however you say his name, has publicly stated that the U.S. possesses technologies capable of manipulating time and space. This claim was made during discussions about advancing U.S. technology policy. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this isn't some weird theory. This is something someone who actually works for the administration said on record. What is this? This is kind of strange. It kind of reminiscent of our president recently said that we have technology that people are not aware of, and he said it would blow people's minds. Yeah, that would pretty much blow your mind if that was really the case. You got a time machine there? I don't know what they're saying. Can manipulate space and time, whatever that is. So you got that story. You have also, of course, European travel to America plunges 17%. They don't want to come here anymore. And you have Nintendo trying to charge you an arm and a leg just to play their new game, Mario Kart World. $80 price tag and like $500 for a Switch 2, apparently. At any rate, that's my video. I'm kind of wondering what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.